Alright, hold on. How many people have lost family member, loved one from overdose? The next speaker, I will go into his story. I am going to introduce Travis Bornstein. He raised $1.4 million with the Teamsters from Breaking Barriers. I'm sure you're familiar with him, so I want to hear his story. I have not heard it yet.
Good afternoon. So, first let me thank the chief, the mayor, Norton Schools, and the whole community for putting this event together. You know, I'm a firm believer that the only way we're going to solve this epidemic is as a community. And we have to be doing these things all throughout Summit County and talking about what's going on in our community. So I'm going to share our story with you. As Nicole said, I'm the president of Teamsters Local 24 here in Akron. My family formed a nonprofit organization called Breaking Barriers, Hope is Alive. So I'm going to share our story with you real fast, okay? My son Tyler graduated from Lake High School in 2009. He was a magna cum laude graduate. He was an all-league and all-county golfer. He actually recorded 2 hole-in-ones before he turned 16 years old. His senior year in high school, he decided not to play golf, but to go out for the football team. At the end of the season, Tyler earned the Senior Ironman Award. After high school and not playing competitive golf for over 2 years, he walked on the golf team at Walsh University, where he earned a golf and academic scholarship. And in 2013, he did a bodybuilding show. And at the age of 22, he was announced runner-up, Junior Mr. Ohio. How does a kid like that get addicted to heroin? How does a kid like Tyler get addicted to heroin? Let me tell you. Tyler broke his right arm 4 times. He had 2 surgeries on his right elbow. The first surgery was at age 11, and the second surgery was at age 18, and Tyler got addicted to the opiate prescription pain pills, which led him to heroin. So here's Tyler's story, okay? On September 28, 2014, Tyler was in the process of overdosing. And the person he was with, instead of calling 911 for help, he took my son to a vacant lot on the corner of Arlington and Alfred and dumped him in a field and left him there to die. The next day, the Summit County Sheriff's Office showed up at my house, proceeded to tell my wife and 17-year-old daughter that a resident found a dead body in a vacant lot, and it was our 23-year-old son. What do you do now? What do you do now as a family? What do you do when all your hopes and dreams are left in a field to die? What do you do? So listen, here's our story. Our story is about the opiate epidemic, okay? But our story is also about forgiveness and about hope, okay? I was standing over here and I seen how many people stood up in recovery, okay? And I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so proud of all of you, okay? But one of the things that I learned in watching my son is he can never forgive himself. He can never forgive himself for disappointing mom and dad. He can never forgive himself for the things that he did, okay? I want to encourage you to draw a line in the sand and forgive yourself and stand up and be the very best person that you're capable of being, okay? So one of the things that I had to do is shortly after Tyler died, the kid who pulled him out of the car, when he dumped his body in the vacant lot, his driver's license fell out of his pocket. So the next day when law enforcement showed up, this kid's driver's license sitting right next to my son's body. So obviously they arrested him, right? He went to work with law enforcement, made 2 more buys, and got the drug dealer. In this case, the drug dealer was an 18-year-old kid, okay? So look, we're talking about forgiveness. Summit County Sheriff called me and said, hey, Travis, we got the drug dealer, we got the kid who dumped your son's body in a vacant lot. You know, and some people need justice, right? And I'm all for justice, but here's one thing that I knew. That wasn't going to change my circumstance. That wasn't going to do one thing for me to bring my son back. Okay? So one of the things that I knew I had to do as a father is to lead my family and show forgiveness. And so one of the things that I had to do at the sentencing of the drug dealer, and in this case, he got 4 years. Talking about 20 years, he got 4 years. Okay? But look, it didn't matter whether he got 4 years or 40 years, it didn't change my circumstance. Right? So look, the thing that I had to do for myself to move forward and for my family to move forward is they needed to see their dad look this kid in the face and tell him I forgive him. And I did that. And it was the hardest thing that I've ever did in my life. You know, it's easy to stand in front of people and say we got to forgive and forget. Okay? But when you got to look the kid in the face who sold the lethal dose of heroin that was laced with fentanyl that killed your son, your only son, little different circumstance. And I want to tell you in recovery, if I can show forgiveness, you can forgive yourself and you can move forward. Okay? You can forgive yourself and you can move forward. You deserve it. You deserve it. Okay? Now look, I want to tell you a little bit about hope. Right? I want to share a little bit about hope. So as I told you, I work for the Teamsters Union. I'm the president and principal officer. I've been in this position for over 20 years. Okay? Every 5 years, we have our international convention. I wrote a letter to the general president, and I started talking about the opiate epidemic. And I said, as union leaders, we need to be leaders in our community, and we need to get this conversation going. 4 out of 5 heroin users first began with opiate prescription pain pills. We have 200,000 people in our state addicted to heroin. We got to start talking about it, and we got to get this conversation going. So the general president gave me an opportunity to speak at our international convention. There was about 5,000 Teamsters in the room, all across the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. I gave about a 15-minute speech and shared our story and poured my heart out. After I was done, Teamsters started coming to the mic all across the country and lined up at the mic and started making pledges to support Breaking Barriers. The first donation was $10,000. The second donation was $10,000. The third donation was $50,000. And over the next hour and 45 minutes, we raised $1.4 million. I want to say to families who have lost a child, okay, for everybody that's in here that's lost a loved one, okay, and I know you're hurting. Our family is hurting too. And one of the things that I've learned about dealing with pain, okay, is if I only focus on my circumstance and I only focus on my pain and my heartache, I can't heal. You know what? But as a community, if we rally together and we start burdening each other's pain and we start standing with each other and we stand up as a community, we will heal and we will move our community forward. We will heal and we will move our community forward. Now look, Breaking Barriers has a big vision that I've been working on, my wife and I kind of tease. There's my wife, Shelly. She's the president of our organization. I kind of tease a little bit. She's the brains, I'm the muscle, right? I kind of tease it a little bit, but she's the brains of the operation. And what we're trying to do, what we're proposing in the county, is to make a difference right here in Summit County. And what we're proposing is a sober living community that looks at long-term treatment up to a year, residential housing and aftercare, all on one campus. All on one campus. Okay? So this is probably about a $7 million project. Breaking Barriers is going to put the first $1 million in. Okay? We're going to put the first $1 million in. We're working with the county. I'm hoping to announce some partnerships as early as August or September. Okay? Once we announce those partnerships, I believe we're going to raise the money. Okay? Because this is a grassroots effort of families who are people in our community who is hurting, okay? And I just believe with all my heart, that if we do this together, we can offer hope back to our community. I believe that with all my heart, okay? So, that's our story. I want to encourage all of you as we deal with pain to try to come along somebody else. The hardest thing to do is when you're broken is to care about somebody else, right? The easiest thing to do is only focus on yourself and only focus on your heartache. But I'm going to tell you, I don't believe you can heal it. You can't heal it, okay? Just like every recovery person in this room, you're told to give back, right? You take your story, every one of us got a story. Have some guts, stand up and start sharing your story and come alongside somebody else and offer hope. Hey, I don't like my story. I don't. If I could give it back, I would, but I can't. So the thing is what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now, right? So it's an honor for me to be here this afternoon. Thanks, Nicole, for giving me the opportunity to share. And I'm really proud of Norton. I'm proud of our chief. I'm proud of our mayor, because these are the things that we have to be doing all over Summit County so we can start making a difference in our community. Thank you guys very much.
Now we're going to have a few remarks from the Barberton Drug Court, Judge Todd McKinney. Did I say that right?
I am Judge Todd McKinney. I am here from the Barberton Municipal Court, the Drug Court. When I first started seeing people addicted to drugs and charged with drug offenses, I got it wrong. Because I would start to hear their story. I would hear that they had overdosed 3 times, that they had taken a needle from a friend's arm to shoot up, and I would look at them and think, there is nothing I can do to them that can persuade them. I could threaten prison, I could threaten jail, I could do all kinds of things, but nothing would work. And what I realized is, we're here today at an event sponsored by the City of Norton Police Department, the Norton Police Union, the city, and you realize it's the police talking to us about how to combat addiction. Do you get that? Do you get that you've got a judge wanting to talk to you about the services we want to offer to get people who are addicted to drugs help and treatment? We will do anything to help. And that's the message we want to communicate to you. At the court, I think what we're especially good at is, at the drug court, first of all, you don't have to commit a drug offense to come see us. Let's get that clear first. So I'm not encouraging anybody to commit an offense, but if you want help, come and talk to us. Our brochure's out on the table. We want to talk to you especially about the different services and treatments. This is a tremendous grassroots network of everybody here. And we want to connect you to all the different people who will help. Something else we're especially good at the court, and again, you don't have to commit a traffic offense to come talk to us. But about 15 to 20% of the population drives without a license. And they get picked up and they're in front of us. We don't have insurance and the hole just keeps getting deeper. It gets harder to get to work. We are really good, Judge Fish and I at the Barberton Court, about talking to you about what's it going to take to help you get your license back. We'll run your BMV record. We'll go over it with you. We especially, if you know someone, have them come and talk to us. 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, open court. We'll run your BMV record. We'll tell you what it's going to take to get your license back. More than anything, what I want you to hear is the courts, the police, everyone wants to work, because you cannot turn your head in this room and not see somebody who's had a loved one die from an opiate overdose. It is an epidemic. It's a huge problem. But with a community response, we can really do better, and we want to. Thank you.
Is there any way to get the people out there